And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Get together, have a few laughs.
Welcome to the Iowa Talk Guys podcast. I'm your host, Theo.
And I'm Erock.
And I'm Teepee, calling in from an undisclosed location.
Call in for Teepee. He's missing the fantastic Iowa weather we're experiencing right now.
Derecho 2.0, right?
Derecho. See?
Derecho.
Yeah, it's the
hopefully
winds.
It doesn't blow my fence down again this year.
Yeah, that would suck. But
it's climate change.
You can, yeah, it's man-made climate change. All right. Well, you could always get a hold of me and tell me, or that you need some help. Come over and rebuild your fence. I know that I tell you shit like that all the time, dude. But
oh, don't worry. There's going to be a working party. I just need to buy everything first.
All right. There must be some sort of a bird taking refuge right outside of the window. We're fortunate to be in Erock's attic tonight. So yeah, there's like we said, the weather's really bad. The window is on the off wind side of the house. So yeah, I bet the birds are looking for shelter right now with the 50-mile-an-hour winds outside. Speaking of winds, the winds of change around the world. My goodness, you can't keep track of this shit. It's happening so fast.
This is going to be our Road to War update. We tried doing it with Big Country last week, but he instead schooled the crap out of us and a bunch of other stuff. So
yeah, he
really
did.
Awesome conversation. I hope everybody went and listened to that and enjoyed that. So this is actually going to be the Road to War update.
It is. And it's also throwing darts because there's so much shit happening. It's like, what can we talk about right now? Throw some fucking darts.
We actually had trouble deciding what we were going to talk about tonight. So much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to, if we could, can I start off with this? I saw this was from last week, which would be May 13th, 2024. Story by George Bunn from GB News. This is Germany considers imposing conscription on all 18-year-olds as soon as next month as war fears grow. The article goes on to say Germany could announce plans to recruit teenagers as Europe braces for a potential conflict with Russia. Leaked documents, plans by the German government, to conscript all young men and women as soon as they turn 18. And this is why I was a big pusher against females being in combat operations, because I was raising girls when I was in the Marine Corps, when all this stuff was happening. I said, no, this is what's going to happen. They're going to call, when there's a draft, my daughters are going to have to frickin' register for the draft, and I'm not cool with that at all, period.
Plus, you've also been in an all-male combat environment as well.
Well, yeah, and I've also worked with female engagement teams and stuff and whatever, but, it had nothing against their abilities. There were some female engagement teams out there that did a great job. There's a lot of good squared-away female Marines and whatnot.
Oh, girl, baby girl. Oh, really? Don't even play.
I think conscription and the draft in general is bullshit, and I don't agree with that at all. I think it should be a volunteer force. And, so I'm against the male draft in America right now, too, and I'm totally against any type of female draft.
The selective service?
Yeah.
So, but we also have to remember that conscription has been pretty normal throughout history.
Oh, I understand that, and that's why right now we have the voice to tell people. People can go to Times Square and yell about how they deserve to have a vagina when they have a dick and balls. Then, I think this is a little bit more important than that. This is something that people should make their voices known on.
But if they want equal rights, should they have the equal right to fight?
There we go.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah, you want equal rights? Well, good. There you go. Now you're equal. You're all going to get slaughtered. Have fun. So, anyways.
Yeah, by the way, I don't support that necessarily. I was just, putting it out there.
Making a point.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah. But to continue this article, it comes after Defense Minister Boris Pistorius. Or I guess that's German. How do you say that with German? Boris. No, that's Russian.
Pistorius, anyway, yeah. Boris Pistorius.
Boris Pistorius admitted the banning of Germans' compulsory military service in 2011 was a, quote, mistake. The radical initiative could be made public as early as next month, according to local news outlet Die Welt.
Die Welt.
Meanwhile, NATO has been urged to bring back conscription amid fears about Russia's threat to the West, with Latvian President Edgars Rinkevics stressing the need to ramp up spending to levels not seen since the end of the Cold War.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, that is very interesting. We should talk about this.
They haven't kept up military spending in Europe. The United States has done it all for them. I mean, I don't have the figures up right here in front of me, but that's not something that Donald Trump was blowing smoke up people's ass about. He went over to fucking Europe and he actually whipped them. Hey, you better start paying. Well, because they weren't paying what they agreed to pay. The U.S. was doing it for them.
Yeah, and everybody said he was a piece of shit for doing that. And stuff.
Right.
And it's like, no, he was 100% right, though.
Right.
Why are we paying for their defense? Why?
That's a good question. I mean, and it was obviously started because of the Soviet Union, and they are not in any way, shape, or form the same, how do you say it, state that they were then. So they asked to be in NATO. Are you kidding me? Putin asked to be in NATO. I mean...
Yeah.
So you're not comparing apples to apples if one were to do that.
This is a segment from the Tucker Carlson interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin, which originally aired on February 8, 2024.
At a meeting here in the Kremlin with the outgoing President Bill Clinton, right here in the next room, I said to him, I asked him, Bill, do you think if Russia asked to join NATO, do you think it would happen? Suddenly he said, it's interesting. I think so. But in the evening, when we met for dinner, he said, I've talked to my team. No, it's not possible now.
So, what threat is Russia to the West? Like it says in this article here.
Well, my theory...
What threat is Russia posing to the West? That's what I want to know.
They have a ton of resources, and what do they have? I think their population is like 100 million to our 300 million-ish. I think they're both slightly more than that. But they have a ton of resources, and they have the chance now, under what sort of, I don't know what do you want to call it, autocratic regime, shit, I don't know, dictatorship, I don't care what you call it. Their new focus on economics and development and harvesting of resources and whatnot. Like we said, there's a ton to talk about, right? New oil deal, natural gas deal. It was talked about, and they're getting a date talked about between China and Russia as we speak. There was the Vladimir Putin visit to Beijing, right?
Yeah, we all heard about that.
What was your reaction to seeing Russian President Putin and Chinese President Xi exchanging hugs?
Exchanging hugs? Well, that's nice for them.
Global News, May 17, 2024.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has wrapped up his trip to China with a stop in Harbin, but not before a rare sign of affection between himself and China's Xi Jinping. Though China's political culture is not known for displays of warmth, the two leaders exchanged an embrace after a day of announcements ushering in what they're calling a new era of partnership between their respective countries. While the trip was short on concrete proposals, it comes as tensions continue to rise between the two respective countries and the West. Before departing, Putin attended an expo and met technology students in Harbin, a province in China's north that is home to many Russian expatriates with historical and cultural ties to Russia.
And yeah, they're pretty much figuring out a date to talk about when they're going to build a pipeline from Russia through Mongolia. So it's like Siberia through Mongolia to China. So,
which is essentially part of the Silk and Road Initiative, right?
Well, they're going to help. They're going to help with the Belt and Road.
Yeah.
That way, providing natural gas. You bet your ass in one way, shape, or form. I mean,
well, with the Nord Stream's blowing up, I guess when one window closes, another door opens.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, okay. Well, if Europe and the U.S. want to blow our shit up,
natural gas.
Yep.
Guess what? Somebody wants to buy the shit.
Blow our shit up. Yeah. Well, China, it won't happen. And this is something that we talked about with SL Compton.
Yeah.
Their persuasion over there is, I think, far more inclined to accept government and authoritarian government than we are. Right? Like, our ancestors were cowboys and shit. Not that they don't have some rugged folks over there, but they are developing. And the Communist Party China is not going to let people fuck it up. They're not going to let anybody do anything to that pipeline once it's in. Russia knows that because they want the damn gas, just like the railways. SL was explaining. Going through Xinjiang, where the Uyghurs live. There was a slight amount of radicalized Uyghurs from Uzbekistan and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Beijing is not going to let people fuck.
That were radicalized, yeah.
They're not going to let people fuck with the rail lines to Europe. Period. Too much money involved. Kind of like Russia would not blow up their own pipeline, but we've said that a million times. So
what about blowing up helicopters?
Oh, gosh. Another one of those things. Iranian president dead in a helicopter crash.
Oh, yeah. Which is really interesting because I was telling Theo and Erock, well, I think I told Theo, that I've been listening to the new Confessions of an Economic Hitman on Audible, John Perkins.
That's right.
And it's fascinating. I'm going to have to go buy a hard copy of this book. But in there, he had talked about, which is part of the first book, Trujillo's of Panama. President of Panama went down in a plane crash.
Yeah.
And then
Roldos in Ecuador as well, right?
Yep. And within
Jaime
months of
Roldos.
each other.
Do I remember that from that book that I read 15 years ago? Jaime Roldos.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
And they both of them perished in plane crashes.
That's right.
That
the deal went through. The deal went through afterwards. Kind of like when the I don't mean to keep talking about him, but like SL explained about the Saudi king. Yeah, it's weird how that shit happens.
LSD tripping nephew killed him, and then they decided to start OPEC and side with the U.S. government and the petrodollar. Weird.
Yeah.
So I wonder, and this is speculation, obviously, on our part. There was heavy fog, and I had gotten reports too, or I'd seen a report, not multiple, just one, that apparently the weather tracking services, like around the world that you can go get on certain websites and watch, were down in those areas too. So you can track the weather and see what it was like in that heavy, thick fog that they had where he crashed the helicopter. Right.
Like I said, it's so early, and I caught myself thinking today, actually, Teepee, Erock, like the first thing I want to do is start talking about how the fucking CIA or MI6 or somebody killed him. You know what I mean?
Or the NSA or whatever.
NSA, whoever the hell did it.
Whoever. I mean,
if it can happen to Stevie Ray Vaughan, it can happen.
The CIA killed Stevie Ray Vaughan.
It can happen to the president of Iran.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sober. But I did see an article today.
And started spreading a good message, and then he got killed. Yeah.
Gas prices are going down.
Are they?
Apparently
by like what, 5 cents?
Biden's going to lower it before July 4th and to release 1 million barrels.
Speaking of, what other election shenanigans are going on foreign policy wise?
We've gotten way off topic.
I know that's kind of where I'm going. Should we get on topic to the first article that I posted here up on this list?
Let's rein it back in real quick. It's only like one more paragraph left.
Oh, okay.
This option would mean the German constitution would need to be amended, but is seen inside the defense ministry as most likely to receive societal approval. Secondly, the policy would only apply to 18-year-old men, but would not see everyone selected. They would be required to fill in an online form and could then be chosen for service. And the third option would avoid compulsory service, focusing instead on optimizing the current system by engaging a more proactive recruitment campaign.
Yeah, I think that they were going to make everybody spread their cheeks and take an imprint of that as well. No, I'm just kidding. What interest does Germany have in conscripting all of these 18-year-old and over young men to serve in the army to go to war with Russia?
I don't know.
That makes absolutely no damn sense.
Well, it's interesting you said that because further down in this article, earlier this year for GB News, they found that only 14% of Britons aged 18 to 24 would willingly fight for the UK if conscripted for World War III. Generation Z will most likely say they would do anything possible to avoid fighting in the potential.
Yeah, I imagine.
Just 17% of overall respondents would willingly fight for the UK, with men, conservative voters, and Brexit backers topping the list at 27%, 32%, and 31%.
Yeah.
The overall figure is only slightly higher than the 14% who would do so if forced, but much lower than the 30% who would avoid the potential conflict altogether. I mean, that's still quite a bit of troops, but that goes to show, the world, people do war, dude. It's the governments that want war. The people do not want it.
Right.
And the people that do want this third world war or want, death to Russia and all this shit are just, they're monkey see, monkey do. Right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the people that I hate to sound like I'm passing judgment, but at this point, the people that are willing to go do that are probably just brainwashed patriots.
Unfortunately, yeah. Russia bad. Russia very, very
Russia bad. I'm gonna defend Britain from Russia in Ukraine.
Right.
Well, so, this week we saw that German politician licking toilet seats. Urinals.
We did see that. That's right. Actually, I didn't click on it because I thought it would be terrible to watch.
So according to the last episode, when I said German scat art, I called it because he also had a picture
they're
of him
fucking weird.
Smearing shit.
Was it one of the toilets where the Sitzpinkler go? The Sitzpinkler.
If you were in a German poo fetish film, you tell me, right? Of course, Pookie. That was like one of the very first South Parks, dude, like season 2 or 3 or something.
Teepee.
Yeah.
The Sitzpinkler is the male who sits down when he pee. That is the German word for the Deutsch word for it is Sitzpinkler.
Oh. Well, I don't know if he sits down when he pees, but he definitely licks the toilet seats at other people.
Yeah, they do all sorts of fucking weird shit over there, don't they?
He was part of the Free Democratic Party, the FDP.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, you guys mind if we move on here to the next?
Yeah, so we're gonna rolling into since Russia's so bad.
Russia bad. Russia very, very bad.
Very, very bad. We talked last month, I believe, in the last Road to the War update about Niger, the U.S. troops in Niger essentially being abandoned by the U.S. officials, by U.S. military.
That's right.
They left them there at a base. Niger wanted them out. Niger's government wanted them to be gone.
Yeah.
And the U.S. was like, oh, all right, we'll leave. Oops, we forgot 1,000 guys there.
That's right. They left them there.
Meanwhile, they've been stuck there with no supplies coming in. They weren't, nothing, no food, no mail, nothing going out. Well, it looks like Russia to the rescue.
That's right.
Russia troops.
According
to the BBC article.
Yeah, according to BBC, Pauline Kola, 3rd May 2024, Russian troops have been deployed to an airbase in Niger where American soldiers are located, U.S. officials say. The move comes after Niger military rulers ordered the U.S. to withdraw troops who had been countering Islamic insurgents in the region. So, left the soldiers that the government ordered them to get. It's like they took everything fucking out except for the 1,000 troops.
Well,
what they didn't want there.
The U.S.
Say again?
Yeah, but they're not going to kill them or anything. I mean,
right? I don't think they're motivated to though. Otherwise, they
No, I don't
would
think they wanted to do that. Otherwise, they would have already. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
Didn't I see videos of them dancing together?
Yeah. So
dude.
there was video of a nice-looking young Russian lady with an American soldier, and they were dancing. I just wonder, this is speculation at this point, yeah, and Teepee already alluded to this, but I just wonder if the Russians weren't taking care of them. Flat out.
Well,
I'm sure they didn't have a fucking supply problem. Well, this is in the capital of Niamey. Russian forces were present at the base in Niger's capital, but were not mingling with American troops, U.S. officials told the Reuters news agency. That's what U.S. officials told.
That's when we already determined that's a lie because that video is out there.
Well, I mean, hey, the video's out there.
Together is not mingling. What is that?
But hey, well, it might have been fucking AI for all we know. Who freaking knows,
that's
dude?
True, too.
So
could have been paid actors,
right?
Russian mail order brides
in a military uniform.
Russian military. And I'm sure you can get them cheap. Sure, all you gotta do is get it. Go to a Ukrainian website, and you can probably get some cheap Russian uniforms.
Oh yeah, I bet. So, moving on, anyway. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the Russians posed no risk to U.S. forces. Quote,
I think you know that Air Base 101, where our forces is a Nigerian Air Force base that is co-located with an international airport in a capital city. The Russians are in a separate compound and don't have access to U.S. forces or access to our equipment. And this is something that, again, I'm always focused on the safety and the protection of our troops, something that we'll continue to watch. But right now, I don't see a significant issue here in terms of our force protection.
End quote. Mr. Austin told journalists in Honolulu, Hawaii. Well, I'm glad that he told journalists that in Honolulu, Hawaii.
While he was on vacation.
Like he didn't tell anybody that he was in the hospital for all sorts of really crazy health reasons. So that's cool. Anyway. So yeah, we're not letting them around them Russians, but it seems like it could be different.
Oh, but he added some more. Go keep reading.
Quote, I'm always focused on the safety and protection of our troops. What a fucking jackass. Seriously. Right. I need to tone down on the F-bombs already for this one. But
yeah, sorry, I'm getting worked up too.
But right now, I don't see a significant issue here in terms of our force protection, the defense secretary added. Congress was asking these guys about like medical supplies to troops and whatnot. Like, I mean, these guys were cut off, right?
Yeah.
So this dude just walks up to the press like a boss. Just like, the Russians pose no threat. There's no significant issue.
Well, he's got to save face and justify his job now.
You're right.
Which is leadership in the United States 101. Right there. Talk about this all the damn time.
Yeah. It's not about actually doing your job. It's about saving face and making it look like you're doing your job.
I heard somebody say recently that they had a manager talk to them that said the secret is move on before your problems catch up to you.
Huh.
That's American leadership. Or in the case of American officials, air quotes, just fucking don't even acknowledge that you messed up or killed people or anything like that and just keep on trucking.
Yeah, why bring up the past, dude? This is a new day. Just move on.
Oh, what did Hillary say? Why does it matter? What the hell?
At this point, what difference does it make?
At this point, what difference does it make?
What difference at this point does it make?
Well, you topple a government. Go ahead, Erock.
If Antony Blinkin can go to an open night mic jam, whatever.
This dude's in Kyiv jamming it.
Playing Rockin' in the Free World.
When you sent that, I was like, I knew it was going to be that fucking song. All the fucking songs in the world.
The United States is with you. So much of the world is with you. And they're fighting, not just for a free Ukraine, but for the free world. And the free world is with you too.
It had to be a Canadian guy.
A Canadian, talking about rocking in the free world.
That's back
in a
on Spotify.
War zone.
Yeah, like Neil Young's song, like one of the worst Canadians imaginable.
I mean, no, he's a good musician, dude, but...
I didn't say anything about his talent, bro.
Well, yeah, he's back on Spotify after the Joe Rogan thing. Like I said, he pulled that shit before back in the early...
But he claimed it was
mid-2000s.
It was the quality.
Yeah, the
Whatever.
first time.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
He's just got his old memory hole that he can stuff shit down. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He bought it.
Why
I
not
wonder
do
where
what-
I wonder where he bought it.
He used to hang out with all those CIA assets in Laurel Canyon back in the...
He probably did, didn't he? Doing a bunch of acid and shit.
About it. Yeah, he was at Frank Zappa's mansion, the what they call it, the cabin or whatever. He also, remember, Neil Young was quoted saying that Charles Manson was one of the best musicians he's ever met, right?
He probably just did a bunch of acid, didn't he? And Manson convinced him.
Manson made him suck his dick, dude.
Okay, moving on. So, the article goes on to say that the U.S. had relied on Niger as its primary base for monitoring regional jihadist activity. It's pretty close to Mali, too, up there, right? Yeah, and Niger has turned to
where
Russia.
the Obama campaign sent troops to help out with the Ebola outbreak. Remember that?
Right, yeah. Niger asked Russia for assistance, so that's why they came. They don't want the U.S. there no more. You get out of here, U.S. You leave.
You go now. You've been here for hours.
Never come back. And I don't blame them. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I live in Iowa, and I want Washington to get the hell out of here. Damn it.
So here's an interesting thing that this next sentence says, and we talked about this with SL Content, was in turn, Niger has turned to Russia for assistance in fighting Islamic insurgents in the south of the country.
Well,
we don't want the U.S.'s help anymore.
Yeah, you guys kind of like keep them going along instead of kill them like Russia did in Syria. So we're going to move on with this contract. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can leave now.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Yeah. Good for Niger, dude. Seriously.
Right.
Stand up.
Standing up to the U.S.
Yeah,
and
no
then,
shit.
And then bringing Russia in, dude, like, obviously, because they're like, yeah, we don't want to be assassinated.
Yeah, they can't do it themselves. Erock, you look like you have something incredibly critical to say about me.
No, I was just going to mention, it reminds me of that movie Heavyweights. When all those fat kids got forced to go to the dance with all the other hot chicks.
Yeah, with the hot chicks. Why?
The villain was a little over the top, don't you think?
Then the girls just wanted to dance with the fat kids, and they had a good time. So I don't think Russia can help.
Yeah, that's movie magic, bro.
You can't help our government?
Who is a fat kid, the girls never want to dance with you. Right?
Yeah, I hear you.
Movie magic. Anyways, sorry.
Erock, your point.
Good point.
Your
Good point, though.
Russia can't help it that they're being told to do this. The United States can't help.
What?
So you might as well have a good time. Get all fucked up.
You're talking about the troops?
Oh, the video?
Yeah, the dancing.
Yeah, no shit. Kind of like the Christmas ceasefire during the First World War where, what was it, British and German troops got out of the trenches, had a nice night
met
with each other.
No man's land.
And then
broke bread together.
That where else? There was another big one, but I remember hearing that Confederate soldiers and Union soldiers used to trade coffee. It's like a currency.
Well,
because once again, like you said earlier, it's always the people at the top.
Right. Yeah, you remember the miniseries Band of Brothers?
Si, senor.
So they're interviewing all the actual veterans in the beginning. And the one guy said, he goes, I often think about that. And I have, and I still do to this day, is that, maybe that guy that I killed or these guys that I killed, that guy could have been, I like to hunt. Maybe he liked to fish. He goes, I wonder how many of those people that I actually had a lot of things in common with and that we might have actually been friends had the circumstances been different or whatever. He's like, but I had a job to do and so did they. And that's what we did.
A lot of those soldiers, I've thought about this often. That man and I might have been good friends. We might have had a lot in common. We might have liked to fish, he might have liked to hunt. You never know, Of course, they were doing what they were supposed to do, and I was trying to do what I was supposed to do. But under different circumstances, we might have been good friends.
That's a terrible way to justify it.
Maybe we should try to change our way of thinking as human beings. No disrespect towards that man and his service.
I mean, I get it though, dude. I totally get it. Like, they were attacked. Like, I fell for the same thing. They didn't know any better. And they even said that. He's like, it was different. This wasn't one like Iraq or Afghanistan. I mean, he's like, we were attacked. He's like, we didn't just go and invade them.
Well, our country was attacked. It's different. It wasn't like Korea or Vietnam. We was attacked. And, it was a feeling that maybe we just dumb country people, but where I come from, but a lot of us volunteered.
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of saying an easier sell, really, right?
Right.
Yeah, remember when Pantera played Moscow in 91?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the best guitar solos ever. No, I wasn't there either, but like the best guitar solo ever with Dimebag Darrell Domination. Live at Moscow, 1991, right?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Monsters Rock.
Melting.
I remember one time telling a dude that. I was like, this is the best guitar solo ever. He's like, this is a matter of opinion. Then I was like, all right, we'll watch it. And he was like, it's like the best guitar solo I've ever seen, dude. He's like, yeah, Dimebag Darrell, bro. Domination live.
Only did it sounded amazing, but the way he makes it look just awesome, dude, right?
Erock, what do you think?
I think the Russians deserve heavy metal. Heavy metal is what will bring us all together.
I think you're right.
Like on South Park when Van Halen brought the Muslims and the Jews together.
Yes, you sent that clip a little while back. Fucking hilarious.
He did that.
Oh, Teepee, you did that?
Where I was watching.
One of us did.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'm going to continue reading this article.
All right. Let me take a squeege.
I'm going to continue reading this. The Russians deployed to Air Base 101 at Niger's International Airport in Niamey are said to be military trainers. They don't know combat. They just know how to teach people how to do combat. They are said to be occupying a wing close to the contingent of U.S. troops. According to Reuters, earlier this year, officials in Niger told the U.S. that about 60 Russian troops would be deployed to the country. It is unclear how accurate that figure is today. And it is also unclear how many American troops remain at Air Base 101. Last time we read, I think it was like 1,000 troops, if I remember correctly, when we read that one article. So that's really interesting. So they even told the U.S. that Russian troops are coming here, and the U.S. is just like, yeah, and they can feed our guys, I guess. So it said most of the U.S. troops in Niger are said to be at a drone base in the central city of Agadez, some 750 kilometers or 460 miles northeast of Niamey. Relations between the U.S. and Russia have been deteriorating sharply since President Vladimir Putin launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, with the U.S. leading Western efforts to supply weapons to the Ukrainians. And we all know how much of a complete farce that is. That's not the article, that was me saying that. And how the relations have been deteriorating under Putin and Biden's administration. But once again, dude, I really think this is all just this political game. This is all just a game. Trump's playing his part, and so is Biden and all the individuals within. But anyways, Paul Melly, West Africa analyst at the Chatham House think tank, says he sees no prospect of confrontation between the U.S. and Russian troops.
I hope he's right.
Yeah, I do too. Mr. Melly told the BBC the Americans had tried hard to remain in Niger, but that the country's military leadership had rebuffed their attempts to link their security assistance to a timetable to return to civilian rule. This is a quote. For the junta, the attraction of the Russians is that they make no demands about governance and democratic rules.
Yeah.
Unquote. Mr. Melly said, which SL had mentioned as well too. They're coming in, they're giving them better deals.
Yeah. Of course it's benefiting them. They wouldn't do it if otherwise. But it's way more appealing than what they've been used to.
Yeah, and it's clearly, I mean, and it may, some of the deals might be a little bit, enslavement, dependency on Russia and everything, but unfortunately, the way that the game is played nowadays is, if you're not friends with the U.S., you got to be friends with somebody. And the U.S., like we've talked about many times, has been swinging their big dick around so long that it's starting to get slapped and slashed off a little bit.
That and
little bit by little bit.
Old and shriveled.
Loose skin and old balls. Gross.
Yeah. What's left of it, right? And countries just aren't having it anymore, dude.
No.
And Russia and China, they got deep roots and they have a lot more patience than we do.
That's right.
Our government.
Yeah.
So
they're thinking more civilization than dominance, I think. I don't want to sound like I think they have any more benevolent, inclinations than anybody else.
Yeah,
but
they have their own.
Yeah. But they're offering economic advancement
without the threat of enslavement.
Right. And actually,
generational enslavement, I should say.
The way it seems right now is more for the masses, too, as opposed to just a ruling class somewhere. Which we're not trying to, talk like the Belt and Road Initiative is the greatest thing in the world. It's incredibly intelligent. We're not defending the CPC or Russia or Putin or any, but hey, they're making way smarter moves. We've been talking about this. They're making way smarter moves. There's no two ways about it. Washington is making moves that weaken us. Beijing and Moscow are making moves that strengthen their countries. And they are being driven together. And these smaller countries are being driven to them. This is Washington's own beast, if you will.
Yeah. Erock, what do you got to say about it, buddy?
Well said. Well said.
He just got back from the pisser, mate. They probably don't say pisser in the UK, do they? Because
taking a piss after the show, mate.
Being pissed in the UK is being drunk, I think, right? Anyway.
I don't know.
Politico. Pentagon orders all U.S. combat troops to withdraw from Niger. The 10th of May. By Lara Seligman.
So, the last one was what?
Yeah, I was just wondering. Is this later or earlier? Yeah.
The 3rd of May. So, it took them till the 10th, and that was after having a 60-day notice that the Russians were coming there. Okay, cool. All right. I thought the secretary had the safety and protection best, interest in mind.
No, I think that was just him bullshitting the cameras, the press.
Loving and nurturing.
Yeah. The Pentagon this week formally ordered all 1,000 U.S. combat troops to withdraw from Niger, a blow to the Biden administration's effort to counter terrorism and Russian influence in West Africa. Is that really why? So now they're admitting that Russian influence was a problem in West Africa. It's not just the terrorism that was, being experienced, terrorism, quote unquote, in Mali or Morocco, Algeria, these places. Not that there's a ton in those countries, but that they have people that engage in it. Regardless, that is crazy. So they're really admitting that Washington was simply there to just make sure that Russia didn't have influence. Cool. The U.S. announced in April that it would begin discussing plans for, quote, an orderly and responsible withdrawal, end quote, after Niger's military junta declared it would revoke its military cooperation deal with Washington. What's a really good example of somebody that just doesn't have any business, saying something? An orderly and responsible withdrawal, like Afghanistan? Like, Washington has absolutely no business making that statement again.
Yeah, telling Russia they have no business invading Ukraine.
Right. Yes.
Like when Bush himself said it. A wholly unjustified invasion of Iraq. I mean, Ukraine.
Well.
Sorry.
Yeah. Iraq too. He said it.
Little Floridian slip there.
Little A little Floridian slip.
That's what I said.
Don't be talking about our Floridian listeners like that, okay?
Not Floridian.
Gophers! They're great, not golfers. The little brown furry rodents.
Anyway. But U.S. officials have continued to negotiate with the junta over the terms of the withdrawal and whether there was any possibility some American troops could stay. Can we please leave them here? Some of them? Oh, okay, you don't want us to, so we're going to pull them out, but we're going to cut them off and leave them anyway.
On behalf of the Iowa Talk guys, we apologize for the abrupt ending of this show. The file got corrupted, just like our government.
I'm going to tell you right now, whatever happens, the first casualty of war is always
the truth.
Yeah. Remember that. Write it down.
That's right.
If you guys like the show, please like, follow, subscribe, share, hit the notification button on YouTube and whatnots.
Follow on X at Iowa Talk Guys.
Follow on Rumble and YouTube at Iowa Talk Guys.
Follow us on Instagram at Iowa Talk Guys _podcast. Share this with your friends, your family.
That's right. Share it over, at Memorial Day. Talk about it.
Share it with some of your coworkers. Only the select few, just the cool ones, not everyone.
Yeah. Until next time, listeners, always remember, don't eat the yellow cake.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
And don't drink the Kool-Aid.
And
let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories.
Iowa Talk Guys, out.
Hi, good night, everybody.
And I'd rather be here. I'd rather be here. So thank you very much. Very nice. Appreciate it.